Okay, I'm going to introduce you to Suzanne in case you haven't had a chance to meet her. Suzanne Garcia comes from a small farming community in central Utah. She attended college at Mesa State University in Colorado, where she played basketball before transferring to BYU to pursue a pre-med degree in exercise science. She graduated summa cum laude and was recognized with the Outstanding Graduating Senior Award. Following her undergraduate studies, she moved to Oregon to pursue a master's degree at Pacific University in physician assistant studies. After graduation, she began practicing medicine as a PA, working in family medicine, pediatrics, and urgent care. After 15 years of clinical practice in Oregon and then Virginia, Suzanne accepted a position here at Southern Virginia University, where she is able to focus on her true passion of educating people on making healthy choices to improve their happiness and quality of lives. She currently teaches health and wellness and consults with our students, employees, and administration on matters of personal and community health. Suzanne lives in Lexington, Virginia, with her husband Brett and their 4 sons. Suzanne will introduce Joe Whetstone, Director of Auxiliary Services, a little later in the program. As many of you know, we have just completed a 4-week fitness challenge, and I'd like to introduce to you our winners today. Braden Butt, Rebecca Wagaman, Matthias Palmer, and Liliana Ferguson. They each won a pair of AirPods. If you guys are here, I know. This means they came to a lot of fitness classes over the last 4 weeks. If you guys are here, you can claim your prize after forum from the table here. In an effort to further promote today's theme of wellness, we are providing some additional prizes. We will have water bottles to keep you hydrated, pillows to help you sleep better, not pillows, pillows. $25 gift cards to Food Lion to purchase healthy food, $20 gift cards to nourish your bodies at Chipotle, smoothies, sandwiches, and wraps from the Fresh Market, burritos from Dorados. So, please look under your chair to see if you have a winning certificate. If you are sitting beside an empty chair, you might want to check that one as well. If you are in a white chair, check really close to the edge. I don't know, Grady. Okay, if you were lucky enough to score a prize today, you can collect your prize from the prize table after forum, okay? Congratulations to all of our winners. Okay. Following the forum, we will sing Love One Another, and the closing prayer will be offered by Athletic Senator Noah Myers from Ventura, California. Suzanne.
I have worked several years in medicine, and there are many things I enjoy, but my favorite is watching people, my patients, make healthy changes. When they come back in and they are happy because they feel good, it makes me so happy. I love that feeling. And hopefully, I'm helping my boys at home make some healthy choices as well. I feel grateful to be at Southern Virginia, helping promote healthy changes here. You can't go far without seeing something about it in the media. The obesity epidemic. Experts call it a public health crisis, and we're left to wonder, does it really matter? Now, it can be really tricky to talk about obesity, and I certainly never want anyone to feel like it's body shaming or that there's some moral or ethical judgment happening when the topic comes up. It's a complicated issue, and the problem isn't that we're just not fitting into our skinny jeans or that we're not looking like the celebrities in the media. The problem is that obesity is killing people, and it's not just old people anymore. It's really affecting our children, too. The problem is obesity is the driving force for chronic disease, and thus the driving force for human suffering. And that's what we want to reduce. We want to reduce human suffering and premature death. If we look at the top contributors to death for Americans, we see number 1 and 2 neck and neck, tobacco and obesity. And if you see the numbers, they far outstrip any of the other contributors. When we talk about obesity, we talk about it in terms of BMI, or body mass index. And while BMI isn't perfect, we can get a lot of information fast and easy about a lot of people. BMI is a function of our weight in relation to our height. So one place it goes wrong is when we have athletes or people trying to gain muscle mass, so bodybuilders, gym goers. And since I'm standing in front of one of the healthiest populations in America, that's going to include several of you. So when somebody puts on weight with muscle, the BMI formula can't tell the difference between muscle weight and fat weight. And so it just assumes that it's fat weight, our BMI goes up, and it makes us look unhealthy. So it's not always the case. So if we take 2 people here, they are the exact same height, they are the exact same weight, and their BMI says they're 33, which on the BMI scale says obese. But you can see the person on the left has low muscle mass and a high body fat content, so that would be considered unhealthy. They're at higher risk for chronic disease. But the person on the right has high muscle mass content and a low body fat content, and this is not unhealthy at all. It's very healthy for them, even though the BMI says obese. So for some people with high muscle mass content, they would have a falsely high BMI. And so that can happen to athletes or people who have high muscle mass content. But if we're looking at America in general, not many people are going to the gym increasing that muscle mass. We wish they were, but they're not. So we can get a good snapshot of our country looking at BMI. So this is a BMI table. You'll see the different categories from underweight, normal weight, overweight, and then the 3 classes of obesity. So as you go left to right, weight goes up and BMI goes up. And as you go left to right on that table, we'll see more and more chronic disease come in. Things like hypertension or high blood pressure, heart disease, heart attacks, diabetes. And currently in the United States, 70% of American adults are considered to be overweight or obese. And so that would be the light blue teal color up there and to the right, which means that less than 30% of American adults are able to maintain a normal weight, which is that purplish blue category. This is of great concern to our country as a whole because it means there's a lot of chronic disease and a lot of people suffering from those diseases. In December of 2019, so just a few months ago, the New England Journal of Medicine, which is a well-respected medical journal, ran this article which projected that in 2030, half of American adults would be obese. And that's the orange category there, a BMI of 30. And even more concerning was that a quarter of us, American adults, would be severely obese, or a BMI of 35 or above, leading to even more increased risk of chronic disease, emotional, physical suffering, and astonishing financial implications. And this is one area where it's really difficult for us to get our head wrapped around. The cost that we spend on healthcare is staggering. Right now, we spend almost 20% of our gross domestic product or federal spending on healthcare. And according to the Centers for Disease Control, 90% of that is on chronic disease. And while not all of that is preventable, much of it is. If we compare ourselves to other developed countries, so our counterparts, we spend over double what the average of the other developed countries spend on healthcare. And yet, if we compare our health to those countries, we are at the bottom of the list. It's very difficult to be competitive as a nation when 1 out of every $5 of economic output is taken by healthcare. So clearly, we don't want to follow the American norm. We want a different culture here at Southern Virginia. We want to be intentional about our health, and we want you to help change the culture of our country. That means in no way that we need to be a fitness guru or an exercise model. But our health isn't something that we want to wait on. We want to act now. In fact, the college years are key for setting healthy habits. Habits set during your college years have the best chance of becoming lifelong than do habits set at any other time of your life. And knowing that, we want you to focus on 3 key areas while in college to set habits. Those would be movement, nutrition, and sleep. The university is excited to announce a new program to help remind us that healthy choices will lead to a bright future. This is the BrightKnight logo. You'll start seeing it around. When you see it, you'll know this is a healthy choice. It will remind us that smart choices and small changes will add up to a bright, healthy future. We all know exercise is good for us. That's not new. It makes us stronger, happier, sleep better, boosts our immune system, prevents cancer and chronic disease. But I want to remind you that every positive step in the right direction counts. Even a small step, if done consistently, adds up. Every flight of steps you take in Main Hall, every walk you go on with a friend, every fitness class you come to, every push-up, every sit-up, if you garden, if you scrub the shower, if you vacuum your floor, it all adds up, it all counts. So try adding something small but positive to your life. See if you can make it part of your routine. And when you have that habit set, then you can add another one. It can be as simple as doing a set of push-ups in the morning. It could be going to one of our fitness classes. How many of you here have gone to a fitness class? Awesome. They are so much fun. If any of you have been like, should I go, should I not? Come. They have so much fun at them. Many people assume that in order to add a positive habit to your life, you have to have some intense willpower. If I just have extreme focus and self-discipline, I can make this happen, right? A lot of Americans think that. 3/4 of Americans think that when it comes to obesity, we just don't have enough willpower. And if we did, we'd be skinny. But actually, the studies don't agree with that. Because to set a habit, we need to make long-term changes. And willpower isn't the best way. Willpower can help us initially make the change. It can get us through that first run. It can get us to the gym that first day. But researchers have shown that to continue the behavior, it takes something else. It takes taking the thought or mindfulness out of it. If you want to build something into a habit, make it as unthoughtful, unconscious, or automatic as possible. One study looked at high achievers, and like most of us, the researchers thought, high achievers can look at the temptation and just resist it because they have intense willpower. But they found out something completely different. The lower achievers, they saw the temptation, but the high achievers found some way to not see the temptation at all. In other words, these weren't people who had cookies in the cupboard and they could open the cupboard, see the cookies, and say, I'm resisting you today. These were the people who took out the cookies of the cupboard and never saw them, or hid the cookies so they didn't have to see them. In other words, setting up our day so we don't see the temptation is very helpful in setting a habit, particularly if we're trying to eat healthy. This is called changing the environment. Also, as humans, we like things when they're easy, and we like things when they're fun. So if I don't particularly like going to the gym, I'm probably not going to go unless I can make it fun. So I might have to add something to it. I can listen to good music while I'm there. I can go with a friend. Or let's say I'm on the treadmill or the bike. I might go with my iPad and watch my favorite show, and that's the only time I watch my favorite show. That might push me to the gym a little bit more. Another trick to a successful habit is reducing friction. Let's say the only time I can work out is early morning, but I'm really not an early morning person. If I can reduce friction and make that process smoother, I have a better chance of setting that habit. So some people will get their workout clothes ready the night before. Some people will sleep in their workout clothes to remove any friction in the morning. They'll have their shoes set by the door, breakfast ready to go in the fridge, removing any friction. Another trick is to add a short-term reward. It's a dopamine hit to the brain, and it makes you want to keep doing the behavior. So you could say, at the end of the week, I'm going to go on a fun date with a friend. I'm going to buy a new pair of shoes. Any short-term reward. A shortcut to setting a habit is something called piggybacking. Let's say I have class at 2, and I want to add going to the gym into my life. If I can piggyback the gym onto the class that's already my routine, it's almost as if I make it one thing, or I piggyback it, and it's a shortcut to making the gym a habit. And lastly, something that college students have that's unique is a thing we call chaos, and it's an opportunity. People find success when their environment changes in a big way. Let's say you move or your schedule changes, like in a new semester. That's chaos, and you get to rethink and plan and act according to how you want your priorities to be. And people can be very successful in this way, so you have that opportunity, and I encourage you to embrace that. One thing that can be a short-term reward, make any workout way more fun, help automate a routine, and increases the success of people working out is having a workout buddy. A workout buddy is how I've been able to work out for 20 years. It's way more fun with a buddy. If you think having a buddy would help you, but you're not sure how to find one, the Health and Fitness Office may be able to help. We have a questionnaire you can fill out with things like what time you like to work out, what things you like to do. Do you like intense exercise or mild exercise? Then when you pair your preferences with another student, you can contact each other via email and see if being workout buddies would work for you. Another thing that's coming up that is time to prepare for is the night run. Some people aren't quite sure how to get up their mileage to that 3.1 miles. If that's you, but you would like to participate in the night run, we are going to have a 0 to 5K training program that you can join. We'll have volunteers leading the groups, and we can help you get your mileage up and get you ready for the night run. Now that you know some of the tricks to setting habits, we will hear from Joe Whetstone, Director of Auxiliary Services, who will talk a little more about healthy eating here on campus. Some of you know Joe. Joe coordinates all food on campus. He knows food is an important part of your day, and he wanted to add options for you, so he is the one responsible for Dorado Restaurant and turning the bookstore into the new marketplace. He oversaw both projects completely. He and his team are remarkable, and I am excited to hear from him.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for that introduction. I do have a remarkable team, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I am the Director of Auxiliary Services, as you can see. But most recently, as we talked about, I've worked almost exclusively in dining services. And I've really, really enjoyed this opportunity because my favorite thing to do is to work with and for you, the students. I love the opportunity to listen to your honest feedback, your ideas, your concerns, and see what I can do to create solutions that will fit your needs and your wants. But the absolute best part of my job is to work with great young people like these. And as you can see, they're a pretty fun group. I love associating with them. I love seeing them every day and greeting them. I love being a part of teaching them new skills. And I love accomplishing new and challenging things with them. And when Suzanne talks about my team, this is most all of them right there. And you can see they're almost all students. So over the last 3+ years, I've been working with these students and others to bring about change in dining services. We've worked hard to provide you with healthy and fresh options in a fun and welcoming environment. So I'd like to take a couple of minutes to talk about some of those things that we've done, and then we can talk about then what we're going to do in the future for you. Just 3 years ago, in the middle of 2016, so 3.5 years ago, this is what our cafe looked like. We had to pull this one off of Instagram. As you can see, it's a little bit tired and outdated, so we wanted to take that summer in 2016 to give it a makeover, both in the menu and in the space. And so we got a lot of help from students. Students like this group of volleyball players who helped add some fun pops of color, as well as taste test some new recipes and help decide on new menu options. With the new concept, we introduced the idea of all fresh. All of our produce was fresh. Both the produce and the meat was all prepared by hand. And instead of using frozen cookie dough, we began making our baked goods from scratch, using some of my own mother's recipes. So, and all of this just to add some more freshness and more authenticity to the food that you eat and the experiences that you have. After 2 years of successfully growing this particular concept, we began to explore the option of adding a third concept. And after getting your feedback, it was clear the most popular choice was a fresh Mexican option. Students, again, were crucial in making this happen. Students like Allie Isom, Devin Rice, Tatum Powell, Kinsey LaRue, Nate Maloney, Nate Dransfield, Ryan Dubinsky, Morgan Main, and many others helped me and Heidi Glauser create and begin running this new restaurant, really. But it wasn't even a full school year before we began to hear your voices again, asking for another choice. We were only able to open the 2, and we didn't have the third option. And so while it was good Mexican food, it was the same good Mexican food every day. And oh no, I just took away my script. So we decided that we wanted to do something else. We wanted to open a third option, but we had this big, open, ugly room, and we didn't have the resources or the time to take care of it, to make it happen. This was in March. It was the week before spring break, so I got my team together, and we said, what can we do about this? And we thought, well, in this little entry area, we could probably make something happen. And so, again, it was just the week before spring break, we thought of the idea. And then during spring break, we had students like Kerrigan Romeril, Addie Miller, Lauren Thatcher, Jay Keith, And Ethan Goodmanson helped Justin and I build, or me and Justin, build a very small but popular concept. Again, about the students, Morgan Main was a student, a senior at the time, and she did all the beautiful paintings in this room and all the design work. And even though we've changed the concept now, we still keep a couple of her paintings up as a tribute to all the hard work she put into that and for us over the years. We were also able to pilot a new program for how we used meal plans so that students could have more flexibility and use their meal plans to purchase snacks and even smaller meals. This was extremely popular, and we, again, heard your feedback and made it the basis of our meal plans this year. And we have the ability to use it in all 3 locations, and we'll make it even more so next year. So over this past summer, we got back to work in this space to make the Fresh Market. Now, I've said a lot about students helping, but I actually have proof this time. Here's Ethan Goodmanson, who is actually building all those frames that you see in the ceiling. Here's Lauren Thatcher and me taking a break from building the walls there. I don't have pictures of it, but Natalie Rice and Kerrigan Rom are also very helpful to Heidi and Justin and I. But speaking of Kerrigan, did you know that she did all the artwork in Dorado? So all these fun sketches were with these gold accents were her amazing work. And but besides building places and opening new restaurants and creating great works of art to add to an otherwise drab atmosphere, all the students, which is our team, the students, you make all the food as well. Did you know that in Dorado, all the students trim all the meat, make our own marinades. We make all our sauces and dips. We make our own horchata and queso, which are both delicious. And the students who work in the Fresh Market, they hand carve all the chicken and turkey. They hand cut all the fruits and vegetables, make our own hummus, our own pesto aioli. In concessions this year, we scratch make our soft pretzels and hand cut our French fries. And they do this every single day. And they do it for you so you can have the freshest, most delicious options possible. And we continue to make changes. Just these last couple of weeks, you've probably seen some things happen in Dorado. Ali Isom and her student employees have added a broader menu selection with different sizes of entrees and price points. They've added chips, queso, the new habanero picado, quesadillas, and a new express line for to-go items that we call Pronto. And this week, we'll be adding calorie counts to the menu board to help you with better decision-making. And we're not done, and we never will be. So what's next? I think it's time for us to take what we've learned in the locations in the Kimball Student Center and apply those lessons and a new approach to the dining hall. Yes, and this is not to take anything away from the hard work and the progress that the dining hall staff has made, but your generation has drastically changed the dining industry in many ways. An approach like the one employed in the dining hall has been great and has served us well for many years. But now it is time to change with your generation and the preferences that you have. So let me share with you some of the principles that we're committed to and then we're going to commit to in the dining hall for next year. We'll do better with communication. From signage, menus, social media. We'll be sure that you're clear on what you're eating, what you're putting into your body, and what's going to be served. Gone will be the days of walking in the dining hall and not knowing what is available, and even when you see it, that it's not labeled. We'll have all of that taken care of. We'll work with Suzanne and the health and fitness group to create designations for foods that meet certain and specific nutritional guidelines. We will designate as BrightKnight foods. And you'll see this logo, along with the stuff that Suzanne does, you'll see it on the food, so that you can pick the best and the healthiest options for you. We'll do the same thing for gluten-free options and vegan options. You'll know they'll be clearly marked. Like we've done, we are doing in Dorado this week, we'll clearly indicate all the calorie counts for all this as well to help you make healthy decisions. Your generation eats more on the run than any other generation before you. And so we will work to continue to increase the convenience and the speed of the food that we offer for you. And we'll, in the dining hall, we'll continue with our commitment to a fresher approach to meal preparation. But please know that no matter what changes we make in the dining hall, we'll continue to listen to you as we have been and strive to give you the best dining experience possible. We'll continue to do whatever we can do to serve you, to give you a great meal, a fresh and healthy meal, and put a smile on your face. And we'll continue to do it with smiling faces just like these. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, I just want to say a couple things about sleep because it is a superpower. It is clear that when someone is well rested, they are on a completely different playing field from their sleep-deprived peers. So if you're looking for a leg up in this competitive world, a good night's sleep is a great place to start. When you're well rested, you are smarter. We know that a good night's sleep actually triggers changes in the brain to solidify memories. You make memories when you sleep. It's like pressing the save button on your brain. This may not be the most popular thing you hear today, but if you're studying at night, in the evening, and really important information, and you need it to stick, the best thing you can do is go to sleep right after. And it's not just after the fact that sleep helps. Getting a good rest before you take information in is like priming your brain like a sponge to absorb that information. Sleeping well makes us happier. Just like if I brought my 3-year-old in here sleep deprived, he would not be very happy. Sometimes we think because we're adults that we've outgrown that, but that's not the case. We too have many more negative responses and reactions and far fewer positive ones when we are sleep deprived. Okay, sleep won't make us taller than our genetics will allow, but if we are sleep deprived, we can actually be shorter than we're supposed to be because when we are sleeping is when growth hormone is released. Studies show that when someone is sleep deprived, they actually gain more weight than their well-rested peers. And we know from many studies that we're healthier when we are well-rested. We're less prone to chronic disease. According to the American Cancer Society website and the World Health Organization, swing shift work that disrupts circadian rhythm, or in other words, big disruptions in sleep patterns, is a possible cause of cancer. And one study I find particularly interesting is daylight saving time. In the spring, which is coming up, that 1 hour loss of sleep, we see a 24% increase in the number of heart attacks in that one weekend. And in the fall, that corresponding weekend where we gain 1 hour of sleep, we see a 21% reduction in heart attacks. Because there are many athletes on campus, just so you know, the data with performance and sleep is amazing. You should go look it up. Your greatest legal advantage in sports is a good night's sleep. Team captains, if you want to bring your best team to competition, make your teammates get some sleep. Professional teams are monitoring their athletes' sleep. I think sleep is a superpower. I hope you do too. But even with all this information, sometimes I have a student or two who, despite knowing they have horrible sleep patterns, are not quite ready to make a change in their sleep habits. So I have one more piece of information for you. I'm hoping to change the minds of any of you still on the fence about wanting to change your sleep habits. So with that, I want to invite all students to join our next challenge, a sleep challenge. This will start in March, and each night that you sleep 7 to 9 hours, you earn and we'll log this, you will earn a ticket into a drawing for awesome prizes like pillows, really soft blankets, smartwatches so you can track your exercise and your sleep. This is so easy, right? Anyone can do it. It's sleeping. And you're going to feel better and perform better in your athletics and in your academics. You monitor your sleep by a free app or a tracker if you already have one. We'll be sending out information next week, or you can stop by our office anytime. Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be with you today.